Hey guys, it's Tarkhis from TarkhisGaming. Today I'm going to show you how to make a couple of different redstone clocks. Now there are a ton of different clock designs. These are the ones that I typically go to when I'm building my redstone because they're small, they're compact, they're easy to remember, and they have a ton of different purposes. So this first one is a simple clock, torch clock. It's very compact, very easy to remember, very easy to build. The second one is an Ethonian hopper timer. The great part about this one is you can really control how long the pulses are, and that's what makes it great in a ton of different situations. This next one is a chained Ethonian hopper timer, and I also have a pulse output rather than a constant output. So in the other one, you can control how long the pulse is. In this one, you can control how long in between the pulses. And the reason it's chained here is just to increase the time you can have between. So if you have a 2-minute timer on this first one, and then you have, say, 11 different things in here, then that's going to be a 22-minute timer, because it's 2 minutes, and then every time this pulse goes off, it'll flip this one and move one item. Finally, this one I don't have a lot of purposes for. I rarely use it, but it's a one-tick clock, so some people do have uses for it. All you have to do is place a redstone torch, and now you have a one-tick clock. It does create some lag, so I'm not a big fan of it, but there are some times when you need a one-tick clock. So now I'll show you how to build them. So first up is the torch design. All you're going to have to do is place one block. On one side of the block you're going to want to place a redstone torch. On the other side you're going to want to place some redstone dust. And on top of each of these you're going to want to place a block. And then you're going to want a repeater going from the block above the torch to the block above the redstone dust. Now you're going to want to make sure that this repeater is on at least the second tick. If it's on the first one, then this torch is going to burn out and the clock's going to be useless. So there's not a whole lot of wiggle room in this. You can either have it on the second tick, third tick, or the fourth tick, and those are the speeds. Some of the nice features about this though is that you can turn it on and off from a number of different places. If you place a switch here, you can turn it off. If you power any of these blocks in a similar fashion, say you have redstone going into this block or this block or this block, then that'll also turn it off. And you can also have an output coming from any of those. So if I want to have an output here, that'll work. If I want to have an output here, that'll work. If I want one coming out of this block, that'll work as an output. So there are many different places you can have the output and the input, but the downside is there aren't very many speeds for this clock to run. But it is very compact as well. So now on to the next one. So up next is the vertical Ethonian hopper timer. All you have to do is have two hoppers feeding into each other. So place the first one and then shift click to place the second one. And then you're going to want a comparator coming out each side. So one coming out of that hopper and one coming out of that. And those are going to go into some blocks with redstone on top. So you want a redstone on each one. And then you're going to want sticky pistons facing into the hoppers on each side. And you're going to want to place a block of redstone in between. And then you can choose if you want it by default on or off. And then just have redstone coming out whatever. So this is by default off. And then to get this to run, you're going to want to place some items in here. For every item you put in, you're going to increase the length of the pulse by 0.8 seconds. So calculate it, take the number of items times 0.8, that's how long your pulse is going to be. So next I'll just show you some variations on the Ethonian hopper timer. And first I'll show you how to make a horizontal one. Starts off the same way. You want two hoppers feeding into each other. And then on each side of these you're going to want a redstone comparator coming out, just like that, and there, and going into a block just like before. Now rather than putting redstone on top, what you're going to want to do is place a piece of redstone beside each one, and then again have sticky pistons facing in beside each piece of redstone, and then a redstone block. Now before, however many items you put in, times it by 0.8, and that's how long the pulse is going to be. Now if you place a piece of redstone on both places, what's going to happen is you can invert it by placing a redstone torch like so. And now 0.8 times 0.8 times the number of items you have in there, that's how often the pulse is going to occur rather than how long the pulse is. So it'll be a very quick one-tick pulse, but it'll happen every time that you have so many items times 0.8 seconds. Now again, another variation to build onto this one is if you build another horizontal Ethonian hopper timer beside this. So same process, you're going to want to place pistons feeding into each other with a comparator coming out each side into a block with some redstone beside it, and then a piston facing in on each side with a block of redstone. And then to join these, you're going to want to shift click and place your redstone on top of each of these hoppers here. So now what happens is, same logic we had just had, however many items you have in here times 0.8. Now you multiply that by however many items you have in here, and that's how often this is going to pulse when you place it here. So, same procedure, invert it so that it creates a pulse, and now it'll happen 0.8 times however many items you have in here, times the number of items you have in here, and that's how often this will occur. The reason this is so useful is it's a very, very compact way of creating very long clocks. It would be more compact to have dispensers going onto pressure plates and using the despawn times. The reason this is better is it's much more customizable. You don't have to go in 5-minute increments. Plus, you don't have to worry about running out of items. Here, the items just go back and forth between hoppers, whereas if you had a dispenser, once that item goes, it's gone, you have to restock it. So that is the variations on the Ethonian hopper timer. So this last one is very simple, however, it's not very useful. It's just a 1-tick clock, so it'll emit a pulse every 1 tick. All you have to do is take 2 pieces of redstone, and then another 2 pieces of redstone, and then have a repeater going each way. So one going this way, and one going this way. And then at any of these 4 places, you just have to place a block of redstone, and then a torch, and you can destroy those, and now you have a 1-tick clock. It creates a lot of lag. It's not that useful, but it's something to have. It's something handy to have in the back of your mind in case you do need a 1-tick clock. That's it today. I hope this helped you, and thanks for watching.